Close your eyes. Picture a mermaid. I know what you see. Shimmering scales, flowing hair, a voice like honey, longing for the human world. Ariel, Disney's icon. But what if I told you that image is a fantasy, a dangerous fantasy? Because the real mermaids of ancient folklore, they weren't curious princesses. They were drowned ghosts, cursed immortals, and shape-shifting child-eaters. They didn't yearn for land. They were trapped in the water that killed them. They didn't sing love songs. Their voices were the gurgling death rattle of the drowned. And their greatest wish? To drag you down into the cold, dark depths to suffer with them for eternity. Forget the fairy tale. Today we journey into the drowned heart of human fear. We uncover the shocking truth about 3 ancient mermaids who prove these creatures weren't beautiful. They were pure, primal terror. First, we venture into the haunted forests of Slavic lands to meet the vengeful spirit bound not to the sea, but to the rivers that stole her life. The Rusalka. This isn't myth. It's a warning carved into the soul of a people. The Rusalka. Even the name chills the blood. Forget the ocean. Her domain is the still, murky waters of forest ponds, the rushing currents of rivers swollen with spring melt, the deceptive calm of lakes under a full moon. Why? Because the Rusalka wasn't born a water spirit. She was made one. She is the restless soul of a woman who met a watery grave under tragic, often violent circumstances. Think, a young bride betrayed by her lover on her wedding night, drowning herself in despair. An unmarried woman pregnant out of wedlock, cast out and choosing the river over shame. Even an unbaptized infant, its tiny life snuffed out before it could be welcomed into the community of the living or the holy dead. Death by water, especially untimely or unclean death, was the forge that created the Rusalka, and this origin shapes her entire terrifying existence. Her beauty is a cruel illusion, a corpse-light lure. Slavic folklore, meticulously recorded by ethnographers like Dmitry Zelenin in the early 20th century, describes her not with Ariel's fiery locks, but with hair the color of swamp grass, long, matted, and perpetually dripping with the water that claimed her. Her skin isn't sun-kissed. It's deathly pale, sometimes tinged green like pond scum. Her eyes hold not curiosity, but the hollow emptiness of the grave and the burning fury of injustice. And her song? It's not a melody of longing. It's the hypnotic, gurgling whisper of water filling lungs. It's the mournful wail carried on the wind through birch trees, trees she desperately climbs during the eerie Rusalnaya week in early June, trying to escape the element that imprisons her. This is crucial. The Rusalka hates the water. It is her prison, her torture chamber. She is bound to it, forced to relive her drowning endlessly. This hatred fuels her malice towards the living, especially men. Here's where the true horror lies. Legends from Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia tell consistent, chilling tales. A Rusalka doesn't just drown her victims. She plays with them. She appears as a stunningly beautiful woman on the riverbank, combing her long green hair, singing softly. Lured close, the victim is seized not by force, but by a terrifying, unnatural tickling. The Rusalka tickles them mercilessly, a soundless laughter echoing as the man laughs himself into paralysis, into suffocation, unable to breathe even before the water fills his lungs. Then she drags him down, but death isn't the end. Folklore whispers she rips the soul straight from the throat, adding its anguish to her own. Why? Sometimes pure vengeance against the living who still breathe air. Sometimes a twisted need for companionship in her watery hell. And sometimes, most tragically, to replace the child she lost in life. Imagine the grief of a mother spirit, eternally mourning, eternally seeking to replace what was taken by taking another mother's son. This isn't just a scary story. The fear was visceral. During Rusalnaya week, villages enacted strict taboos. No swimming, no bathing, no washing clothes in rivers. Women left offerings of cloth, bread, and garlands on riverbanks, or tied to birch trees, appeasement for the trapped spirits. To build a mill near deep water required complex rituals to ward off the Rusalki who might sabotage it. The Rusalka wasn't myth. She was the embodiment of the water's deadly power, the terror of untimely death, the consequences of broken social bonds, and the chilling reality that nature wasn't always benevolent. She was a ghost, a predator, and a victim, forever bound to the element she despised. A far cry, wouldn't you agree, from a princess trading her voice for legs? Now, let's sail far from the haunted forests of Europe to the shores of ancient Japan. Here we encounter a creature so alien, so fundamentally wrong, that it shatters any lingering Disney illusion. The Ningyo. Forget the half-human beauty. The Ningyo is a grotesque fusion, a chilling testament to the deep sea's terrifying mysteries. Edo period woodblock prints and descriptions in texts like the Konjaku Monogatari depict it with the torso of a monkey, but not a cute one. Think snarling muzzle, sharp fangs like shards of obsidian, and small, intelligent eyes burning with malice, fused horrifyingly to the tail of a large, often rotting fish. Its skin is described as oily, scaled, sometimes oozing a viscous brine. Its voice, a cacophony, the screech of a monkey fused with the guttural groan of a drowning man. This is no siren song, it's the sound of nightmares. The Ningyo's power isn't in luring sailors, but in its very flesh. Legends claim that consuming Ningyo meat grants immortality. Sounds tempting. Here's the shocking truth that makes it a curse, not a blessing. This immortality isn't godhood, it's an eternal, agonizing burden. Buddhist interpretations painted the Ningyo as a karmic prison. Souls who committed grievous sins in past lives, perhaps betrayal, greed, or violence, were reborn not as humans or animals, but as these monstrous hybrids trapped between worlds, forever suffering the crushing pressure and cold of the abyss. Their pearl tears, not symbols of sadness, but literal pearls formed from the sheer, unending agony of their existence, breathing what felt like liquid fire. Now, imagine a desperate fisherman hauling his net in the pre-dawn gloom off the coast of, say, Wakayama. He feels an unnatural weight. He pulls, straining, and there it is, a thrashing, shrieking Ningyo. The legends are clear. Catching a Ningyo is not fortune. It's a catastrophic omen. One famous tale tells of a fisherman near Osaka who, in the 18th century, supposedly netted a Ningyo. Whether driven by greed for immortality or simple shock, he killed it. Disaster followed. Violent storms ravaged the coast. Tsunamis swallowed villages. Plague spread like wildfire. And women began giving birth to stillborn children, all seen as the Ningyo's dying curse manifesting. The panicked villagers forced the fishermen to enshrine the creature's preserved body, hoping to appease its wrath. Some accounts even claim these Fiji mermaid curiosities found in Western sideshows were inspired by poorly preserved Ningyo mummies, traded as macabre relics. But the horror isn't just physical. Merely seeing a Ningyo was considered a portent of doom, specifically death by water. It was an omen whispered with dread. Spot a Ningyo and someone you love deeply, a parent, a child, a spouse, would drown within the year. Sailors who glimpsed one might leap overboard in madness, gouging their own eyes out to unsee the horror and perhaps avert the curse. The Ningyo embodies the profound Japanese cultural reverence for and terror of the ocean's depths. It represents the terrifying price of unnatural longevity, the inescapable weight of past sins, and the ocean's capricious power to bestow curses disguised as gifts. It's a creature radiating pure existential dread, the absolute antithesis of a hopeful, love-struck mermaid. We journey now to the mist-shrouded lochs and rushing burns of Scotland. Here the water horse reigns supreme, the Kelpie. This creature completes our terrifying trio by demolishing the very form of the mermaid. The Kelpie isn't a fishwoman, it's a predator that weaponizes familiarity and trust, preying on the most vulnerable, children. Its preferred form is that of a magnificent horse, often jet black or gleaming white, seemingly lost or saddled and ready to ride, appearing innocently near the water's edge. It looks solid, real, tempting, but touch it and you're doomed. Its hide isn't warm and living, it's unnaturally cold and slimy to the touch, like the skin of a dead fish pulled from icy depths. Its mane and tail drip not water but thick, toxic algae. Look into its eyes and you'll see not animal intelligence, but a chilling, ancient malevolence. The Kelpie's true nature is one of pure, shape-shifting horror. While it most often appears as the horse, legends say it can take other forms. A handsome young man to lure women, or even a wisp of harmless mist. But its core purpose is singular, to drown the unwary and consume them. The moment an unsuspecting victim, often a child drawn to the beautiful lost horse, touches it or mounts its back, a terrifying transformation occurs. The Kelpie's skin becomes adhesive, like monstrous glue. The saddle, if present, fuses to the rider's skin. The creature's weight becomes immense, irresistible. With a sound like a sucking bog, it drags its prey into the deepest, darkest part of the loch or river. What happens next is rarely described in detail. The horror is in the vanishing. Sometimes days or weeks later, a mangled body washes ashore. The grim telltale signs, hoof-shaped bruises encircling the wrists or ankles as if held in a vice-like grip, and lungs or stomachs filled not with water alone, but with sand, gravel, and river grass. Why does the Kelpie hate water? Its relationship is complex. Unlike the Rusalka, it's not necessarily a trapped spirit. It is a creature of the water, but folklore suggests it craves the warmth and vitality of land dwellers, particularly the life force of children. Some tales imply it needs the air within human lungs to survive, wearing it like a gill, or that consuming the living somehow sustains its monstrous form in the cold depths. Its shapeshifting is a cruel trap, exploiting human compassion and curiosity. The beautiful horse form isn't just a disguise. It's bait specifically designed to lure the trusting and adventurous. The fear the Kelpie inspired was deeply practical. Scottish parents for centuries used the Kelpie as the ultimate cautionary tale. Stay away from the water's edge, or the Kelpie will get you. Place names reflect this terror. Pools or streams known as Kelpie's Hollow or Horse's Pool. Protective iron objects, cold iron being anathema to many fey creatures, were sometimes placed near dangerous waters. The Kelpie wasn't just a monster, it was the personification of the loch's hidden dangers. The sudden drop, the treacherous current, the sucking mud. It represented the ever-present threat lurking beneath a seemingly calm surface, a predator using charm as its weapon, targeting innocence itself. A far more visceral, immediate terror than any singing siren. So, what have we learned from the depths? The Rusalka, the Ningyo, the Kelpie, three faces of ancient terror, united by a profound, horrifying relationship with water. They don't love it, they are bound to it by death, curse, or predatory need. They represent not wonder, but humanity's deepest fears. The terror of drowning, the agony of untimely death, the horror of losing a child, the burden of eternal suffering, the danger lurking beneath beauty. the consequences of trespassing nature's boundaries. These myths weren't bedtime stories. They were survival guides carved in nightmare fuel. They taught respect for the immense, unpredictable power of water, a force that gives life but can snuff it out in an instant. They explained the unexplainable: drownings, disappearances, plagues after storms. They enforced social codes: respect the dead, baptize your children, keep young ones safe. In a world facing rising sea levels and climate chaos, perhaps these drowned whispers from our past hold new resonance. They remind us that the ocean, the rivers, the lochs, they aren't just pretty backdrops or resources. They are ancient, powerful, and potentially deadly forces. The Rusalka's grief, the Ningyo's cursed immortality, the Kelpie's predatory deceit. These aren't just monsters. They are mirrors reflecting our own vulnerabilities, our fears of the deep unknown, both in the water and within ourselves. They force us to confront the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes the most terrifying monsters aren't fantastical beasts, but the primal dangers of the natural world we inhabit. Did the Rusalka's tragic fury chill your blood? Did the Ningyo's existential curse make you rethink immortality? Did the Kelpie's predatory deception make you glance warily at the nearest pond? If this journey into the drowned heart of myth kept you hooked, then please show this video some love. Smash that like button. It tells YouTube's algorithm that you crave more deep dives into real, terrifying mythology. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because next week we're descending into the Egyptian Duat to confront gods who didn't just rule the dead, but fed on human fear. And crucially, comment below, which of these three water terrors disturbed you the most? The vengeful Rusalka, the cursed Ningyo, or the deceitful Kelpie? Share your thoughts, your own local water legends, or your biggest myth questions. The conversation is part of the adventure. Until next time, remember, the water might look inviting, but listen to the old stories. Sometimes the deepest shadows hold the most ancient fears. Stay curious, but stay safe. I'm your name, signing off.